Welcome back, beautiful souls, to the channel. Today we're going to be going over the Gemini full moon that is happening on December 15th, 2024, what you need to know, the numerology meaning, and also plant medicines that you can work with for this full moon. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, put notification bells so you do not miss a video about learning how to hold your gifts into a space of being a healer for your community, shadow work, full moon, new moon rituals, angel numbers, and all things about consciousness, shadow work, and plant medicine. Let's get into this video. I'm so excited. It is a very special month as we end 2024 because we have two new moons that are happening, one at the beginning of the month, one at the end of the month, and then we also have one full moon. So we have grandmother moon working overtime and giving us some huge upgrades, which brings me to the first thing for this full moon that is happening on December 15th, 2024, and how it will affect you 3 days before, the day of, and 3 days after. So it is really important during this time for you to understand what your ideology of safetyness is. How do I feel safe in my body? How do I feel safe around people, my relationships? Do I feel safe at work? Safetyness is the biggest thing. So we are seeing a big energy shift that is happening in your root chakra. And understanding about your feelings. Do you feel safe to speak about your feelings and emotions in your intimate relationships? Do you feel safe to speak up at work? Do you feel safe to understand just like what is coming up for you and to let your voice be heard? These are examples of where we find safety. So a great thing to really work with the full moon, because full moons are all about releasing, letting go, surrendering, and dissolving energies that no longer serve us. Now with Geminis, any Geminis in the house, let me know down below with a Gemini emoji. And if you are a Gemini, where does it place in your chart or in your community's chart, your family, your loved ones, your kids? Let me know down below. So right now you're really prioritizing that because there's so many changes that we're all going through. Collectively, a lot of you are going through really big ascensions during this month. It can be hard to take some time of presence because I do understand that December is a busy month for a lot of us. It's holiday season, we're seeing loved ones, and for some of us, it can bring up a lot of grief, both with loved ones that have passed away or perhaps grief of our own selves, of what we have shed and how this year has really shown itself. So one of the biggest things I would really suggest you tuning into is, what are the feelings that I need to tend and care to during these times of changes, during these times of ascension? I am going to be doing a huge upgrade in the last moon video on the end of the month and this new moon that we have coming up. And it talks about the big expansion. So to help you, make sure you follow along. But again, one of the biggest shadow work questions to ask is, how can you really show up in your life right now? The second way that this Gemini full moon in December 15th, 2024, how it will affect you 3 days before, the day of, and 3 days after, is that your relationships, specifically asking yourself this question: what relationships do I not feel safe in? We're talking about partnerships, whatnot. Some of you during this time, I do want to also reiterate that December 15th is also the day that Mercury retrograde goes out of retrograde. We are so happy for that. You know, it's funny, when I first started my journey, I always used to get like really like, oh my gosh, Mercury retrograde. But really what it helps us do is become better communicators. It helps us get really down to the nitty of what we want. And people don't talk about that. So whenever Mercury retrograde happens, instead of blaming it on retrograde and like having that, seeing how is Mercury retrograde actually helping us become more communicators, better communicators, more diligent on details, contracts, agreements, boundaries. And this brings me to the two questions that some of you will be experiencing during this full moon in Gemini. Some of you are being called to make boundaries with family and loved ones and partners and work relations. And the reason why is because the feelings you're experiencing, the changes that are happening, the way that you would present yourself in these relationships are changing. And the thing I always tell people is when we go through healing and our spiritual awakening, the hardest thing is actually the people who knew us the longest, because they're going to keep knowing you as your 5-year-old self, or as your 14-year-old self, or your 25-year-old self. They're going to know you and see you as that version of when they met you. So this is one of the biggest things I see a lot when I work with clients, whether it's a spiritual healing or their spiritual awakening, and they're in partnership or they're in a friendship. They have a really hard time feeling safe, because the safetyness that the person knew, the person they were in relationships with, it's changing, right? Now my needs are different. Now my wants are different. Now my desires are different. So it's up to us to communicate that. It's up to us to not put ourselves on a pedestal or to put our own self in jeopardy by not communicating the needs we want. And this brings me to the next thing that I really want to share along lines with boundaries, which I'll share probably more in the card reading bit. And this has come up all this week with a lot of my clients. I'm going to share this with you as we're in the shadow period of the Gemini full moon. How many of you are dimming your light because when you just finished doing a retreat, a healing, or mentorship, or your own inner work, you end up finding it so hard to make or to integrate with the people at home? How many of you? You get home, you feel like it's exhausting, you feel like you go back into eating a lot of food for safetyness and salty foods because that's your root chakra. If you love salty, that's your root chakra imbalance. Or you go into sweets of the heart, just trying to indulge in that. And what this is saying is like being aware of overindulgence as a way of a band-aid, like a false band-aid of boundaries, of safetyness, and of soothing of the feelings. So it's very important for us to understand that when we do this deep work, especially for 2025 and the predictions of what's coming, one thing I can share with you is that we're ascending so deeply that it's like, it's not a choice thing now. It's like, this is a soul contract that we have decided to go deeper with. And I'm sharing this with you because I know that you're ready to receive this, but instead of dimming your life in allowing yourself to match the energy of the people around you that still see you as who you were when you met them, why don't you speak the voice and the power of your voice and your boundaries with love and confidence to yourself of saying, this is for my own temple. This is actually for the safetyness of my spirit. This is also for the safetyness of the people that I am connecting with, and for them to feel safe, to feel themselves, to feel authentic. So you are being called to really clear out during this full moon of Gemini, to remove the mask of like the overindulgence and the habits that come in when you feel like you're growing too much or that you're outgrowing the box you knew. And maybe the fears of what does it look like if I am going to be in that bigger box? Asking this full moon in Gemini to allow that to be taken away for you, to cleanse and clear that through your body and being. And I think this would really help you to clear it through the fire of your spirit and understanding that. So this also brings me to the second part, which some of you will also be finding out that there might be someone that you weren't expecting, or someone that just like subconsciously have been showing up not in the way that you want, and it's time to remove them from your life. So I do see that there is an opportunity for cord cutting or cord clearing that happens during this time. I always say with people not to just cord cut anything. Some of the cords that we have are meant for us to be lessons, and sometimes we have to just tune in and see, like, is this a thing that we're ready to take the responsibility of? When I clear that energy, I am now being an energetic match to my soul's alignment and my highest template. And in that, I have the responsibility to communicate my boundaries, to ensure that I can continue to be in this body, to be here in this space. So there's a lot of facing disassociation that's happening during this full moon in Gemini. And Gemini has that energy as well, where it's like when things get confusing or lack of clarity, we disassociate, whether that's in food or indulgence or addiction or different things, and just to notice and observe why you're going to those things, why you're going to Mama Ganja, why you're going to the food, right? These are all things to understand, because we all have vices that come up from the ripples of our shadow when we feel this safe of uncertainty or fear, right? And I always say the biggest work here is to understand that we are fearless, and that the fear is really the biggest thing of what we need to look at to clear that, and to then step into confidence and true divine truth that we are, that is our being. So I hope that this sit with you. Let me know in the comments what landed and what came through for you while I shared this, that you need to stop dimming your light to be inconvenienced with people. And guess what? That is a choice that you're making right now. Until you choose to take that energy and be like, no, I'm not going to do that anymore, it's going to just keep happening in your life. Right? So this is a big changing point for some of you where, you're learning to love your loved ones, but not to like the things they do. You're learning to remove certain people and knowing that when you remove that person, you're getting someone tenfold more, that maybe you outgrow that relationship, or maybe it's time for you to call in a new one. And a lot of fixed signs right now are calling in a new relationship that's coming in for some of you, a divine unionship that is more than what you can even imagine. So a lot of you are going to get some clarity of action on that during this full moon to support you for the new moon at the end of the year to hit that big last firework of healing. That's going to happen. This Gemini full moon also is going to bring not doing things to buy people's love, to approve or get approval from people, and attention to something to be aware of. So just being aware of the parts of us that wants to be loved, and where we are maybe in our head a lot with what people think and their judgments. And this is a time to release judgment that allows itself to manifest as wanting to please people, wanting attention. One of the biggest things you may see with the full moon in Gemini is an overactive throat chakra, which is where people are speaking a lot and like talking in the story a lot, but they're not connecting to the emotion in their body. So again, we're just being really asked in this full moon to be aware of where we're seeking answers outside of ourselves. I just had this conversation, funny enough, and it's literally, again, the shadow of this full moon, with one of the amazing souls that I connected with here, talking about their journey of being a healer and a space holder and like ready to go into that space, but also nervous. And, I've worked with this person specifically on a retreat. And one of the things I share with them, which I'm going to share with you because this is very supportive, is that you need to listen to your knowing. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what your teachers say. It doesn't matter what anyone says, your therapist. At the end of the day, I really do have these prayers for you to know that you are your biggest answer, that all the answers lie in you. And it's funny, as we started to speak, they start to notice, oh, wait a minute, like I just answered my own question, right? So it's just knowing that we've given our knowledge and wisdom to things, to ideas, to even parts of like people, or even to intimacy, overactive intimacy, or to toxic relationships and toxicity. Because again, it goes all back to Gemini full moon showing us the yin and the yang of where we're just letting ourselves dimming our light, and it's stripping that away from us. It's asking us to give it to the fire here. So ask yourself, here are some prompts that can be supportive for you. Where am I asking or expecting someone to love me in my life? Where am I expecting someone's approval when I connect with them, chat with them? And where am I having an expectation of people's attention? Where it's not actually just for me, genuinely for my heart, but there is like an intention, there is a means to why you're doing the thing you're doing. For example, this is a great example I like to give to my clients. I share that like, okay, I'm gonna go do this thing so my mom I don't have to bother making a boundary with my mother, that I'm not gonna make this dinner thing for the holiday season, right? I'm gonna go ahead and be intimate with my partner because I don't wanna tell them that I don't wanna be intimate tonight, right? So these are some ideas of ways that we just seek approval, love, and attention. And ask yourself, what part of you doesn't feel safe if you weren't to give that to someone? Because when you give that to someone with a full body no or uncertainty, you are now putting yourself on jeopardy. And you're also putting their energy as well, because you're not even giving them fully your authentic self or to self. So let that sink in, that Gemini full moon is really teaching us the disassociation of where we say yes when we mean no, and where we say yes to have approval, to have love, to receive attention. Essentially, it's the part of us that is fear of abandonment, loneliness. And if this is something that you are struggling with right now, I will share that I am taking in clients for one-on-ones for the new year. And I also have some beautiful healers trainings and a beautiful community called Queen Rose that you can check out on my website. That really is supportive. So if you're interested in learning more, just send me an email through my website, and me and my team will get back to you and see where we can support you, and where you can be really just led into your heart, because right now you are your biggest answer. Just learning that you can get that just within bouncing that back to you. Okay. The next thing to know about this Gemini full moon is the head versus the heart. This is such a struggle. How many of you have been in a space in your life where you feel you're between your head and your heart? Put it down below in the comments. Put a little head emoji and a heart emoji. A heart, red heart, and then like the brain emoji. So, and share with me, like, where have you felt in your head and your heart like you're torn between both? Now, let me give you something that people don't share with you at school. Your heart is what tells you what is your deep knowing within yourself, and it is the next chakra before your gut. So the biggest thing I always tell people, which is one of the biggest chakras that majority, 90% of the population is actually disconnected to, solar plexus and below, solar, sacral, and your root chakra, which is basically your upper belly all the way to your feet. Because a lot of the times people want to open their heart and feel the cacao and the love, and they want to feel in the throat chakra and speak their voice and like the inside and like the crown, and like, we love that. But it's like, okay, before we get that, before we open that fully, we need to feel safe. That's why people don't trust things, right? That's why people feel lonely, heart. So before you set into anything, the first chakra that we develop in this world, and when we're a baby, is the root, is safetyness. Safetyness to be birthed out of our mother. Safetyness to live. Safetyness to walk for the first time. Safetyness to breathe, right? And if these things are not embedded within our being, and we embody them, and we believe that, and we trust that, then it actually closes the fields of our upper chakras. It closes our emotional brain. So the sense, that gut feeling, you feel like, should I do that? Should I not do that? That's all in your upper belly, right? So this Gemini full moon, what it's really bringing us is to ask yourself, sit with your gut. What is your gut telling you? Now I want you to breathe into your gut and breathe into your heart. What is your heart telling you? And through your heart and your gut, then you're able to understand what is the logical thing that you need to do. But we've been now taught about the opposite in this conditioning, and part of my job is to completely bring truth. We're taught the opposite. We're taught to get the logic, figure out the math, figure out the stats, and then we go with our heart, and then we go with that, right? I remember growing up, my parents would say all the time, get the degree and then you can be a dancer. Then you can go dance around the world and be a professional Broadway dancer. That was their thing. So it was like, be the logic, have the paper, have the degree, do all the things, do the check marks. Like, that's what our world has taught. But I want you to ask yourself that question. When you did all these things logically, did it fulfill you? Did you feel fulfilled? Or did you feel like there was something missing? And that is why a lot of people feel this sense of the wound of the collective of sensuality or safetyness, or that's how we find ourselves in these situations, is because we're riding on unsafetyness, right? Fear. That's the biggest thing. So here it's really teaching us to really connect with our bodies, and then in that we can then make decisions. And I think Mercury retrograde was kind of like the test for that. It's teaching you, asking yourself from the end of November 25th to December 15th, what were the things that were just not working? Like, what were some things that you were having a hard time making it happen? During this time, ask yourself, were you thinking in your head or your heart? And rebalancing those two spaces through meditation, through healing, that will really help you and support you, okay? The other thing I want to share is balancing the heart's intention with clear decisions. So Mercury retrograde is done, so we don't need to have excuses of it's the retrograding. Life is lifing. December 15, 2024, Gemini full moon is really teaching us that, I'm just laughing so hard on this. It's not that funny, but I'm laughing because I'm just, So Mercury, just how many times, even myself, I'm like, Mercury retrograde, that's why. So with Mercury retrograde as well, it's teaching us that we need to be reminded that after this, we now have to get are buckle up and get stuff done. So the things that were not working, things are going to just like fast lead after this into the after shadow period. So the 3 days after, going onwards until the new moon. What this means is a lot of you are going to go in the fast lane with spirit. You are now being like, the baton is being handed to your higher self to be like, it's time to go. We're ready. Like, they're giving you the message, like in the bottle, let's go. Like, I'm seeing them putting out a hand and like, take it and take the ticket. Let's go. We're going on the train. You don't know where the location is. You don't know where it's going, but all you know is that you just had to release a lot of stuff. And now you have one suitcase and you're getting on this train. That's what it feels like. It's like you're on this venture with your soul. This is also a time where you're seeing a lot of movement happening in your life. So like I said, going back to some of you creating boundaries that have to happen, maybe there's a certain disagreement or a situation that happens as the last bit of Mercury retrograde, and then it clears out, but it has to force you to actually speak up and use your boundaries, whether it's at work or an intimate relationship or family members, or something comes up into the future, into the light. We are in the time of Aquarius, which basically means that everything, Pluto and Aquarius, everything that is hidden is gonna come up. I'm just laughing at this point because it's a joke. It's literally like, if you don't see it right now, you don't see it, but you can't unsee it. Things, the way things are, the way things, the world is, it's because it's happening right in front of our eyes now. Before it was kind of like, we kind of know that, you know, the things are happening politically. Now it's like, it's right there. You know, we kind of know that there is like this type of energy and this type of energy, but they're right in front of you now. So it's like, it's understanding that there is no veil. And again, that actually us putting the veil on our eyes is actually going to harm us more. So again, you see things just moving really quickly and you just have to flow the next few weeks. And I know, again, holiday season, we're all in the midst of it, but even that is a distraction to what's really happening. So just be in tune with yourself. This Gemini full moon is also going to bring out headaches during this time, which represent you being too heady. So again, just being mindful where you're attached to your mind, control. Those of you who maybe know the shadow that comes up of controlling things, and control is equated to not feeling safe in whatever that is coming up in your life. If you control the way you fix and micromanage things, is unsafetyness being manifested in OCD or being manifested in just like criticism or judgment with other people. So asking yourself, where is that being mirrored to you as a person? Highly suggest getting some peppermint with a carrier oil and putting it over the temples, just behind your hairline, because you don't want to go too close to your eye, and down by your neck. It's going to help relieve any tension. Do this during the day, not at night, because you're going to feel a lot of bloodstream. And it's also good to do for people who have low blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, mix it with some lavender and some carrier oil. It'll help. And it just balances both the stimulation of the peppermint and the lavender. So really great to use for the body topically with a carrier oil. So because they could be very strong without a carrier oil. Carrier oil means like jojoba oil, coconut oil, you know, because if you put the essential oil directly on the skin, it can burn the skin. So just a little thing I want to share with you that came through. Okay, let's go into the next part. Insight is blocked, and expectations of what can be and how it comes into your life. So Gemini full moon is really showing us that, you know, our insight is like where we're closing our eyes because we don't want to see something, and it's like right there. There's like no point of closing our eyes. So Gemini full moon is just showing us that things that we have to let go of as far as like the changes and the feelings, like it's the prep work. It's that you're packing your suitcase really right now prior to the 15th. Then you're getting on the train or the plane, and probably after the 15th your soul is. So at this point you're like, okay, the insights are coming in. What does insights mean? It means that you're kind of getting a premonitions for some of you of what's coming. Follow that, trust that. That is what's coming. Listen to the instructions you're getting in your dreams. That came for a reason. I don't know about you. Let me know with a little like cloud emoji and tell me your dream down below if you feel called to, the safe space. But I have been getting dreams where are the specific instructions and I can't question it anymore. It's like, it's so true that I'm like, why would I even question it? I'm just gonna give myself a hard time, right? So some of you are getting specific instructions because you are part of a collective timeline of healing. And I'm going to share this with you all because this is really big that's coming up. And this is why most of my attention has been going towards this. And you will notice on the YouTube channel, I'm going to be sharing more about healers and tips on how to be a healer, stepping into your gifts. Because right now, next year, there's going to be a lot of people that are just, you're already prepping for it. You don't know where you'll be and what it's going to look like. But I will say, for those of you who are on this journey and you know that you have gifts that are meant and you don't know how to work with it, or you're having a hard time helping the community or seeing it come up or having confidence in your gifts, send me an email. I want to have a tea with you and chat, because there's some big things happening. There's some huge things. If you are ready though, you send me an email if you're ready though, because this is huge. If you're listening to the instructions and you're making the work and you're doing it, because I would love to connect with you and chat with you and just get to know like what's coming up and how can it be supportive for you? How can I support you with that? So yeah, just go email. And I love having some tea and chat with y'all and just getting to know you behind the screen, because it's great hearing your comments, but getting to have a face, it's always great. So insight is the third eye, and some of you just be aware of ganja, marijuana. She is a beautiful medicine, but just be mindful if you're going to her when you're too heady, where you feel too stressed and it's becoming a pedestal, you're actually relying on her. She's actually come really strongly with me and said that she doesn't like when people are abusing her. So just be mindful of where there's a codependent relationship. Ganja shows codependency. That's what she shows. She can show you that when not used in the intentional way, and sometimes we don't know. So ask yourself, the way that she supports you and comforts you, where in your life were you looking for that in your life to feel safe? Oh, that is so deep, right? So if there's any medicine, tobacco, vices, food, the comfort you feel when you are experiencing that activity or that experience, where did you feel like you were missing that for the first time in your life way back? What was going on, and who was the person who filled that void for you? Was it the boyfriend that you ran away with? Was it the person that was your friend? Was it, yourself? Was it certain, alcohol, whatever it is? Like, what was it that was like feeling that void and like making that happen during that time for you? This is an opportunity for you to shift that relationship with whatever those vices are and to clear that with this full moon. And asking this full moon, show me what is a dependency I have towards sugar, salt, ganja, intimacy, whatever it is, right? Like, what is the addiction I have around it? And I think this word has become like kind of like shunned on, when I have to just share with everyone that every single person has had an addiction in some point of their life. If you are someone here watching this video and you say you do not, it may not look like what you think, like the most extreme version. It's like when people say that I've never experienced trauma, I had a happy childhood. I'm like, well, guess what? We've all experienced trauma if you've been a human on this earth, because there are things that we've witnessed and there are things that we have endured that we've probably become so micro unsensitive around it. Like, we've desensitized completely. And this is an opportunity that this full moon's like shaking it up a little bit for us to feel it, especially after the Mercury retrograde. So trust me, just trust me. This is the last one for a bit. The new moon that's coming up is a little bit more, how do I say it? It's going to be intense, but it's going to be more of an up leveling. Like, for you, you're going to feel like, oh my gosh, there's a lot going on, but I see where it's coming. And this full moon's like, oh my gosh, there's a lot being removed, but I don't know where it's going. It's more of the mystery of it, of the fire, and just seeing that the prayers that you've been putting in, there's a reason why they're asking you to release that, because there's no way you can receive the manifestation, the life you want, the community, the people that you're calling in, if you do not release that. Okay, so insight is very big, and just being aware of where you're depending on things to block your insight, which your inner knowing is coming up very strongly. The last thing I want to share before we get into the plant medicines and the angel number is that heart and solar plexus third eye activation. So we are getting insight activation, we are getting heart activation, and we're getting solar plexus. Solar plexus is I know, and the brain and my emotional brain, like where my emotions live and all the things, anger, frustration, who I am, confidence. Heart is the void, is all the addictions, the vices, the distractions, the resistance, the disassociation here. And third eye is insight, how we see the truth. What are we the truth? We are the truth. What are the things that are blocking the truth? So those 3 activations are happening during this time, along with the final, which is the root. So you see how wherever this chakra, wherever you feel those 3 chakras, then I want you to breathe that into your root, because that's going to be the root area of where it's living. Pun intended, right? So if you're feeling the vices, well, you feel unsafe in love, it's going to connect with the root, and this Gemini full moon is going to open that up for you 3 days before the day of and 3 days after, December 15, 2024, for you to understand what you have to release so you can welcome your higher self at the gates, which is going to pass you and give you the guidance of what you have to do next. This is an initiation between you and you. And is it ever beautiful? I'm so excited for you. Okay. So let me know down below with let's do an eagle emoji, because you're flying high. You're flying high into the next cycle of your life, and I'm excited for you. Let's do an eagle emoji and let me know what hit with you here. And let's get into the plant medicines. So I love to share plant medicines. For those of you new here, I'm a medicine woman. I've been doing this healing work for over 8+ years. And this is one of the things that I feel like medicines have technology, have energies, are conscious, and can help us heal. So I always like to throw a little plant in here. I say a big plant. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. This plant is a queen energy, so did not like me saying that, and I apologize. But this is a plant that is so powerful. It's one of my most beautiful and amazing plants that I've been lucky to work with for a long period of time. And for this Gemini full moon, we're bringing the openness of truth. So what came in was the 2 plants of chamomile and blue lotus. And we are going to be working with these plants, ingesting it as a tea. And we're going to be steeping it for 10 to 15 minutes. Yes. During this full moon in Gemini, 10 to 15 minutes, a lot of people say on the box, steep for 3 minutes. What people don't know is when we're doing it medicinally, which is our intention for this full moon with these beautiful plants, we want to steep it longer. We want to extract all the goodness of it, all the medicine, really connect with the strengths of the medicine in every part of it. So you can get some blue lotus flower, and you can steep it as well at night with some chamomile and boil it on a slight simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. And you can drink it at night. This is going to help open your dreams, your visions. It's going to allow you to communicate with the messages you need to know through meditation and your dreams. It's going to also open up anything that is blocking the third eye. And it's going to help with anxiety with the chamomile. A little bit of chamomile is going to help with the overactive brain, the stress from all the changes, the anxiety that you're having in your being because it's a busy time of year, and it's going to calm those nerves as you go through these big changes. So these are 2 powerhouse when they work together. And again, I suggest having this at night because you will feel drowsy and sleepy. And just make sure that you're sleeping. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a medicine woman. But again, always talk with your physician if you feel called to confirm. But again, I love plants, and plants are amazing, and I can't wait to share more with you on this channel. So if you are interested in learning more about plant medicine, the education of medicine, and how to work well with it, definitely check Queen Rose, Earth Dharma, and my plant medicine retreats that we have next year. If you want to learn more about when they are happening, go and email my team, just say I am interested in whatever it is, we'll send that over to you. Okay, next thing is angel numbers, numerology. Numbers have frequency. This Gemini full moon is literally coding to us, and it says in the numbers that I'm going to share with you, this is your final activation with the higher beings before you meet your higher self. That was clean. What this means is when we add the numbers 12, 15 in 2024, we get 17. The angel number 17, we have 1. New beginnings, 7 is a master number. So what it's saying is it's time for you to take responsibility for the manifestations and the new beginnings that you're creating and you're having in your life. 1 is meaning new beginnings, and 7 is the master. So you're having a master archetype archangel coming in, doing some work on you, communicating with you through messages through your day, but also through your dreams. Please, it is your responsibility to write your dreams 3 days before, the day of, and 3 days after. It will all go, this all makes sense later on, trust me. But for now, they're asking you, listen up. This is a big one. We don't have time. And I know I've said, a lot of times, like, time is an illusion. It is, but there are some things right now in this earth, and because we're all so earthly, this full moon is body-like. It's not about astral projection. Like, you're dreaming and you know you're dreaming. This is the feeling you're getting. Like, you know what you've dreamt. You can kind of feel it in your body while you're in that astral space. You're very grounded. And for some of you that are not grounded, you're going to feel kind of wonky in the morning. And this is an opportunity for you to smudge and ground and go shower and take the waters and allow the water to cleanse what it needs to. But again, 17, the angel number 17 is really activating. It's the final door opening before you step into what you're coming in. And for you to hold, this is the biggest message that's coming in from a higher being, Archangel Michael. And I also have Archangel Raphael coming in. So what they're sharing with me is like, for you to hold what you're calling in and the blessings. So think about what you've been manifesting for ages. First thing that comes up there, that's it. Now, when you think about that, you're going to get something tenfold more than that. But for you to hold that and to feel safe in it instead of rejecting it because you don't know how to receive it, because you're like, oh my gosh, it's not for me, rejecting your desires, you got to actually clear this out to be able to feel safe in the frequency of what's coming in for you. So I always tell people manifest, I want to have thousands of dollars when the money comes, da da da. I'm like, the reason why it hasn't come is because you don't feel safe for it to come in the first place. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Why do you think people who get famous overnight, make millions of dollars or whatever it is, that they just throw out their money because they're just like, this is too much, I don't know what to do. Their nervous system gets overstimulated. This is why Blue Lotus and Chamomile is like, hey, we're going to help you out here. And you can ask the intentions of the plants. So again, this is the final one. This is the final yara that you need for some time. And this is why Mercury retrograde had to have all these bumps around the road and inconsistencies. So then you can be like, I'm sick and tired. It's time for you to buckle up. The ancestors Raphael and also Archangel Michael are saying that like you have responsibility to do. Like, we don't have, again, they're just looking at me and like, get to work. Get to work this full moon. Get to work. It doesn't matter if it's busy season. You are your priority right now, so you can show up for your loved ones, your daughters, your family, your partners, your friends, yourself. So this is very important. Now, when we add 17 together, what do we get? We get 8. 8 is infinite. So it literally says that you've unlocked this 1-7, and when you work together with the new beginnings and the archangels, you get 8. And 8 is the number of abundance. It's the number of wealth. It's the number of freedom and life force energy. It's the number of infinity. You are sitting on the globe and the earth. So this is what you're receiving. This is after the full moon, of course, but you have to ensure that you tune into understanding that you've unlocked another key. You receive another key now. There's a gift that will be given to you. And this gift is going to show itself of how it's going to be worked out later on in your life, but it may not show up right away, but it will show itself. So this Gemini full moon is all about unlocking, taking the responsibility for the door you've unlocked and what you've manifested, getting the stuff done in the real world in 3D. So then the archangels can do their work on the other side and you can work together. It's co-creation, not just sitting there and praying. It's co-creation. This is what we need to shift into in our timeline moving forward. Because like I said, if there's some things in the world that you're upset about, these are all our responsibilities as a collective. And when we connect to the suffering, we understand how we have to free ourselves and free every being here for ourselves. When one of you do it, it helps others connect to that 17 angel number to activate our truth and our power and our knowing, like I said to that client. Okay, so that was a deep one. Let's do an angel number to end this reading. Let me know down below what hit with that angel number. Did I share some truths for you? Do you feel like a little like, oh my gosh, Chica, what did you say? And I want you to type in the angel number 17 in the comments and say, I am receiving number 17 and the activations that it has for me. So it is. Let's get into the reading. Let's get some burning, some smudging, cleansing after that deep one. Get you some smudgy. And let's get into the reading. So I want you to take a deep breath. In this card, so we're going to just pull some cards and see what they have for us. What are the messages that are meant for you at this time? And if there's something that maybe you want clarity on or you want just a little bit more guidance on, feel free to share it, okay? To put it out there in the world. So Gemini full moon, let's see what the cards have. The Oracle deck, please share with us what we need to know for this December 15th, 2024, and giving us the cards that we have. Okay. You know, sometimes I laugh because it's like, Spirit just doesn't waste time. And I love that. And it's funny because one of the cards I'm giving you, oh Oh my gosh. I'm just like, I love this. I love this. Okay, so you got 4 cards. 4 goes into 8 twice. What a wish. What did you wish? You have 2 wishes, the genie says. So this Gemini full moon is just saying with you that we have 2 specific moments that are going to open up something for the 8 that will unlock 8 for you. You have 17, 2 numbers, so we're looking at that goes into 8. So it's all frequency. So the first thing I want to share is these 2 cards with you. Can you see them? So these 2 cards are powerful because they're connected. We have Treasure Island and we have Message in the Bottle. What does Treasure Island mean? Treasure Island means that you have something to receive. Spirit is putting you in the water of the turtle to slow down a little bit during this time. You needed to go through Mercury retrograde to slow down and for things not to move. It caused a lot of frustration. Let's get over it, because guess what? We're not wasting our energy on things that no longer serve us. So this one is saying Treasure Island is really teaching us that we have so much that's coming and we're swimming to the treasures right now. And you don't see it yet, but it's happening. But as long as you take the responsibility and show up as much as you can, it could be 1% today, it could be 20% tomorrow, it could be 80% the next day, it could be 2% the next day, but you're showing up and it's all becoming a domino effect. And one day you're gonna wake up, it's all gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But you gotta keep the dream alive and keep on showing up. So the Thinker card, you have 44. Oh my gosh, is this dream? Like, what is this? 44 is saying 44, 8, add it together, right? So it's the awakening. You're going through a huge, massive awakening right now. And I just want to take a moment and have compassion for all of us, because we all are. It's every single paradigm that doesn't work for us will completely collapse into tower moment, because guess what? Something new is better. And I understand the fear that may come up. I understand the triggers that may come up. But can you do yourself a promise and not let yourself give into it? Because that is giving into your power. Fear is giving into power. That's sick. So this brings me to the Fates. I love this card. What the Fates are saying is that the Fates have a very big plan for you, as much as you have a plan for yourself. And the Message in the Bottle, this is literally what I saw when I told you earlier in the reading. I saw an archangel bring in like this and bring a bottle right in front of you. And it was like, take it and go. Open it and let's go. Follow the message in the bottle. There are 2 water signs. So what it's showing me is you're going to end, maybe the beginning of this full moon is going to be emotional. And you're going to have the last release maybe a few days after, at the end of the full moon. So the 3 days after. Water means emotions. So that's what's coming up for you. And these emotions need to be released to create space for what's coming up. And again, this is just all the work that they're doing. So again, make sure that you're taking that blue lotus and chamomile to help with the nervous system, and just tend in love for yourself at this time. I want to see if there's any other cards from the beautiful archangels. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. So I actually had 2 decks on top. One of the cards somehow in the deck came into this deck and it flipped right on top. So it's 4 exact numbers, which is come to 8. Okay, so this is your reading. So here and now, this is just a reminder right now to be present, not to get too heady, as I mentioned, and not pulling yourself out of the bigger picture. Breathe. Make sure that you're taking some time for your nervous system. I was wondering if you all would be interested in the new year to help with all these awakenings, or sometime soon if you would like me to do a breath work. I haven't done it in a while, and a lot of you have been like, Shika, when's the next breath work? So if you want me to do a breath work and you legit would come in the next, within the next month, please let me know down below. Please do a breath work and I will do one, because this is really important when we're going through so many activations and we're healing and we're doing the work and we're going around loved ones that are triggering us. It's important for our nervous system to be regulated so we can receive what's coming in. Soulmates. So there's 2 messages for this. The first message that's coming in for soulmates is that, 1, some of you are finding out that you are your own inner soulmate, the soulmate connection of you and your higher self working together to finally receive what you've been calling in for a very long time. For some of you, this is years. For some of you, this is lifetimes. You're finally being able to step into it. And You have 41 again, 4s. So again, if you see the angel numbers 4s, 8s, and 1s and 7s, that is for this reading. This is for the Gemini full moon. Just a heads up and just your process of what you're going through. So if you ask for a sign and you see that, just know whatever is happening or what you're thinking of is related to this, okay? So this also means that you are all kind of releasing and clearing, ending some old ties with relationships with people that you didn't close the door with during this time. And Mercury retrograde had to create some spaciousness for you both to now have this conversation with maybe an ex or a friendship or someone to close that door. And in doing so, it's making space for a new friendship or your actual divine soulmate, which is so exciting. I feel this excitement in you, and I feel like this soul person that is connecting with you, like they're equally healing something the same to bring you both together. The last card that I told you was from the Ancestor deck is the Stag, Trust, and Thrive. So this card literally came out, and it's this beautiful stag. Like, wow. And the interesting thing about stags and deer energy and just that alone is the garden. And it's interesting because for those of you who don't know, my name means deer. So deer, the animal, one of the meanings. And what I've learned about deer is it means gentleness. It means they are protectors of the forest. And what that means is that the stag is coming in to trust that you will protect yourself. You'll be protected. You will thrive. And that all you need to do is just trust this process and just show up. That's it. You might not know logically why. You might not know what is happening, and that's okay. But as long as you show up and you just follow your heart and balance your heart and your action, you're going to receive such deep things. Now you're getting 2 other cards. Oh my gosh, guys. This is like... I just want to, let's take a moment for a second. I feel like so many of you are going through so much change. I can feel it in your heart. And I just want to send out a big heart emoji to you. A big heart hug. A big like screen hug. Because I just got this card, and for me, like more every time it just keeps coming trust and like you're okay. And I just feel like this beautiful being is hugging you right now and saying like, it's okay. I know you've gone a lot. I know you've endured a lot this lifetime. It's all gonna be worth it. Don't worry. We got you, but now you got some stuff to do. And I know you're just like, I can't do it. You can. You can. So here it's like, guardian angel, you are not alone. So if you see a white feather, this is a sign. I think I pulled this card for another reading recently. You are not alone. Please free yourself from the loneliness by thinking that you are alone and by holding on relationships that don't serve you, because you're going to just feel more lonely in a void of a relationship or in a void of a place or in a void of a job that is not really serving your highest good. Sometimes we tell ourselves these are false ideologies of what safety is, and it really is not safe. So how can you free yourself from that? Sink in. The next one is shapeshifter, transform and unveil. Ooh, unveil your gifts. I'm laughing because of the premonitions I'm seeing in the dreams. Those of you who are on your gifts and on your journey, you're like, what am I doing, Chica? I'm receiving so many things. What to do next? Please go email me. Let's chat. I will share more of what's coming and what's going. And if you're ready to use your gifts, or you're just like, Chica, I don't know why, I might not feel ready, but there's a curiosity, go and email my team. Let's chat, because this right here, wolf, you know what wolf spirit, it means community. You got a beautiful wolf, and you got what? A hawk? Shapeshifter. What this means is like, you're shifting into another community, until another gift. Some of you have had many careers, different lifetimes, different experiences in such a short period. A lot of you are old souls. A lot of you have been here before. Some of you volunteered to come here. And now you're being asked for the final door to go through. And you're like, not this again. Don't let your ego get involved too much, because it's going to block you and your insight. But the biggest thing I will share with you from your heart, and this is for those of you, this is where your heart needs to be balanced during this full moon in Gemini, 3 days before the dam and 3 days after, for December 15th, 2024. You are transforming your gifts and alchemizing it into a higher level beyond what you know. Don't question it. be curious with it. And for those of you who feel very overwhelmed with that and you're like, Chica, I don't know what to do with it, please go email me. Let's chat. Let's connect. I want to learn what you're going through so I can help you. And also I'm working on this big project to help those who feel lost in their gifts or like, what is going on right now? My life is shifting. You know, I'm moving from traditional career into something I don't know. I'm moving into, thought I was going to live here my whole life and now I'm needing to move. There's a knowing that's coming on beyond what I know, and there's an orchestration that's happening. Let's connect. So you know where to find me. Okay, so I think that's it for the angel numbers. Let me know what hit. If you've made it this far into the reading, let's put a candle emoji down below representing the candle light of our spirit that is activated. And we're ready. We're ready to receive it all. Spirit, come on. Gemini full moon, we're ready to receive it. But first, we got some work to do. So let's release that for this full moon. And then in the new moon, you'll find me with another energy update, which I'll share more. So before we finish this video, before you leave, I want to share a couple things. It would help a lot if you can like, subscribe, put notification bell so you don't miss a video. And then you also don't miss any other videos to help and support you on your gifts and your journey of your spiritual awakening. And if you vibed and you're here, yeah, come to the family. Welcome home to the space. The second thing I want to share, 2 very specific announcements. 1, if you're someone that is a healer, you know you're a healer in your being, in your knowing, it's right in your bones. I want you to go and email my team and let me know and just share, hey Chica, I'm a healer. Or maybe you're like, I have my gifts and things are going on. I need some help. Okay? Those of you who are ready though to do that. Not those of you asking me to teach you to that, to give you your power. I'm not going to do that. But what I'm going to do is help you out and give you just like a little guide, flashlight it a little bit and help you. And you're going to step into it fully. And for those of you who are women on your spiritual journey that feel lost and feel alone and feel like you've gone through so many friends and feel like you're lonely in your group of friends right now, or your family doesn't get you, or the people at work don't get you, and you're ascending in this deep process of your finding who you are, and you need this community, seeking love, seeking support, go email me. I want to chat with you. I want to connect with you. What are you going through? What is your spiritual journey? Please go email me. Let's connect. Let's chat. And I feel like that's it. If you want to learn all about my offerings, go check out my website, www.shikachica.com. And I am offering 2 spots available for working with me one-on-one long-term. They fill out quite quickly. So email my team and just let me know that you're interested in working with me one-on-one, and we will get back to you. I love you so, so much. Let me give you a little bit of hug. And I will see you the next new moon, but happy Gemini full moon. Sending you love, ease, healing, and let's get it. Let's get it. You got this. Okay, bye.